Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 25th. My name is Alan. I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery, and I do that by being honest, vulnerable, and accountable, which is why I make the videos. I'm no expert in AA or spirituality or recovery. I'm just trying to live life on life terms and do it sober. The recipe we follow here is we read the daily reading out of the AA Daily Reflections book. There's a link in the description if you want to follow along. And then I'll just share my take on what I got from the reading and then share on some other topic that's, on my heart or in my head. All right. So today, the topic is going to be entering a new dimension. And then I want to talk about my 2023 word of the year, which is spirituality. Kind of set the foundation of this whole year, which is kind of why I'm doing this. So we'll do part 1 today, and then we'll do part 2 tomorrow. It's a lot there, so yeah, let's get busy. So April 25th. Entering a new dimension. In the late stages of our drinking, the will to resist has fled. Yet when we admit complete defeat, and when we become entirely ready to try AA's principles, our obsession leaves us and we enter a new dimension. Freedom under God as we understand Him. As Bill sees at page 283. I am fortunate to be among the ones who have had this awesome transformation in my life. When I entered the doors of AA, alone and desperate, I had been beaten into willingness to believe anything I heard. One of the things I heard was, this could be your last hangover, or you can keep going round and round. The man who said this obviously was a whole lot better off than I. I liked the idea of admitting defeat, and I have been free ever since. My heart heard what my mind never could. Being powerless over alcohol is no big deal. I am free and grateful. I am free and grateful. I'm getting there. All right, so kind of what I took from the reading was, in the late stage of our drinking, the will to resist had fled. All right. Am I done running? I asked myself this question. Am I still fighting this process? And I still think I am. There's a part of me that doesn't want to feel or deal with something. I'm not sure what it is. And so what I used to cope is I'd sleep, I just stay busy, or sometimes I eat to, kind of numb whatever I'm feeling. So the resist to flee is getting less. It's not gone, but it's becoming less, right? The idea of admitting complete defeat and how the obsession leaves us, right, to a new dimension. The obsession only leaves us when we're willing to admit complete defeat, which is surrender, and we become entirely ready, which is willingness. So unless I surrender and become willing, which are two things that I struggle with, I like being in control, and I don't want to let go of certain things. So when I decide to do those things, this obsession will be less, right? Pretty straightforward. I'm fortunate to be among the ones who've had this transformation. Am I grateful for this experience? At times, yeah. At times I am grateful. I do feel that, where would I be without recovery? Would I be willing to surrender and have some sense of humility or anything like that? I don't know if I would. I don't think I would. I think I'd even be more driven, but it'd just be in a different area of my life. So I think I am grateful for where I am today. I really do. When I entered alone and desperate, had been beaten into willingness. I just sometimes wish I didn't have to hit such a low to get the willingness that I need to walk through some things. But we'll get there. The idea of admitting complete defeat. I like the idea of admitting complete defeat. I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I like admitting that I can't do this. I think it's another thing I'm resisting. So that's kind of what I took from today's reading. I did want to kind of segue over to my word of the year 2023. A couple years ago, I met a girl, and she current girlfriend, and she turned me on to the idea of having a word of the year. So every year I get to have a word of the year, and that becomes my main focal point. So it's not really somewhat of a New Year's resolution, but at the end of each year, I think, okay, what do I want to focus on next year? And as I'm trying to stay sober, it kind of hit me that I don't have a relationship with God, and I'm very, I feel pretty empty. And so I thought of the word spirituality. So, of course, to pursue that word, what does that mean, right? What does it mean? What does it mean to me? So I chose the word because I was feeling alone and I felt like no one loved me. I had no relationship with a higher power. And I believe if I was hope to stay sober, I needed to grow this part of my life. So I started just looking up any definitions, because that's what I do, for spirituality, and I had the recognition of a feeling, sense or belief that there is something greater than myself. And I've always had that sense. Spirituality is composed of three aspects: relationship, values, and life purpose. Okay, involves search for meaning in life. It can mean meaning, connection, value, some kind of non-physical reality. After doing all this research, I kind of didn't get the answers that I expected. I kind of expected the higher power and this deity, that kind of thing, but I didn't expect connecting to oneself, determine life purpose, my values. I didn't really realize that could be defined as part of what spirituality is. So that's when I kind of define this, I wanted a relationship with a higher power more than working on myself. But I kind of decided, okay, well, all right, fine. Well, let's look into that. So that's kind of where the first part of the spirituality. And where am I at here on this thing? I think that's so. I figured I'd break this down into two different parts, and then I had certain goals that I set for the year. And at some point, I want to revisit these. So, part one of this whole thing was developing a relationship with a higher power, right? Belief that there's a power greater than myself, have something or someone to surrender to, and truly believe that I'm not alone. So that was one part of the spirituality. So if I look at higher power, and then some little, I think the spirit inside, and there's some connection based on religion. I'm not sure what I think there. So then the other part was aligning with my internal spirit, because I believe that there's some part in all of us that speaks to us, that kind of guides us, and I do believe that. So I want to connect with who I really am, live from an authentic self, find purpose, meaning, and value, remove all the internal barriers to maximize my potential and freedom, and deconstruct my reality and rebuild it in some way that's real and true. So that was kind of the first part of that. I'll share my goals at the end of the next one. And so obviously, if I'm going to make this a plan, I want to have little gates along the way to see how am I doing. So probably, it may not be a bad idea to see where I'm at with this. That's going to be one here in the next few weeks. So anyway, that's kind of what I took from today. I just want to encourage you to, papers everywhere. There we go. I've got a mess here. I just want to encourage you to just keep plugging away, be willing to take the steps that we know we need to take, right? Being the willingness to do things that we don't want to do, surrender things that we may not want to surrender, and can we find gratitude amongst our pain and struggle? I hope you can. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow for another reading and part 2 of the Word of the Year. So until tomorrow, peace out.